Hi everyone, my name's Nicole Pates. I'm a paediatric physiotherapist from Western Australia, and today I'm here to talk to you about the Billy Cart Kids shoes. I'm reviewing them today for our new walkers and toddlers and giving you all what I think about them using my 5 things: flexible, flat, wide toe, adjustable and thin. Now, none of these pairs are a gift to me. They have been sent to me, but they're all to give away. So if you have a 5, a 6 or a 26, drop your name in the comments below and I'll select someone at random to win and then send them out to you guys. So let's start off, shall we? So I'm reviewing specifically today for toddlers and new walkers. And remembering that with our pre-crawlers and our just pulling to stand and starting to walk around, we want that really full scrunch where it squishes in your hands, really thin, almost just another layer on their foot. But once they start moving around and walking, preferably out in public outdoor spaces and on hot concrete and things like that, we want a little bit more thickness through the sole. So let's start off with number 1, flexible. These shoes are still fully flexible. You can scrunch them all up, they bend in all directions, and they also twist through the entire shoe from front to back. Let's compare that with a different shoe that is from a different company, where if you try to use it flexible, can you see how it bends at one point and it has that hinge, and I really have to force that last bit around the heel to bend, so that heel itself isn't very flexible. And when we twist, again, all the flexibility is coming from the forefoot, so it's very rigid through the heel. So that's, remember, ideally we want that whole shoe to flex. Okay, so let's talk about flat. When we look at flat shoes, we look at the angle. So if you look here, it is flat, but it has a little kick up at the end, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. It gives them a little bit of a push off. Because it's got the wide toe box, it really allows that push off, which I'll talk about in a moment. But and once they have their weight and their feet spread out, I expect that shoe will flatten out with their foot. But when we talk about flatness, I want you to have a look at shoes that you buy around the heels, because you can see here how this heel is really raised compared to the toe, and that's not ideal in my opinion, because it puts them up on their toes a little bit and kind of changes that gait pattern. So we want that heel to be the same as the toe. Now it looks like, but if you see here, that's just stitching. That white bit there is not actually an insert, it's just stitching to make it look cool, I guess, but the sole is actually quite flat. Okay, so let's talk about thin now. Honestly, it's really hard unless you cut shoes open. So I've cut these shoes open for you today to show you how thin this sole is, okay, comparatively to this one. Can you see how there's heaps more? I wonder if I can get my fingers in here. So you see that thickness comparatively to this thickness? That is the difference in a thin sole. So this one's still protecting, it's still got layers, but this one has probably close to a centimetre, whereas this has got a couple of mils between the ground. So your child's going to get much more sensory feedback with this shoe comparatively to this shoe. And you can see that I've cut them open here as well for you to have a look at. So you can see it's removable, but you can see how breathable and how fluid that is, whereas this insole is fixed and glued on and quite thick. So great tips for a thin sole, not very thin sole. Now, while we're speaking about the toes, let's look at that toe box. You can see here that here's the heel and here's the toe. And if we cut away and we peel away that lining, you can see that the toe box is really quite wide comparatively to the heel of the thing, which allows that spread of the toe. So I really like the size of this toe box. This one's even wider in the grey, which is the Noah. So if your kid's got chubby feet, this one's really good. Whereas when you can see this sandal, you see here's the sole, and then they've actually got another layer, which is part of that insole, threaded in. And if you turn it over when we cut in, that cuts off a little bit. So if we come in a little bit, can you see how the toe box is actually just as wide as the heel? So it's not actually, it's a little bit deceiving, not a wide toe box. So when you're looking at a shoe, take your hands right in and feel to the edge of that seam, and does it mirror the footprint, or is it not mirroring the footprint? Is it deceiving the top versus the bottom? So full marks for wide toes box, Billy Cart Kids. I really like your toes and they allow that spread and push off. Okay, adjustable. So really good. I love that it's adjustable around the ankle of the joint. So all of these ones adjust over the ankle and allow that to tighten around your ankle joint. Let me compare it to something like this, which is a different type of sandal. It has these adjustable straps, but they're actually only adjustable across the foot, not the ankle itself. And so you can't secure it around the ankle, it's only across the foot. So it allows for a little bit more shift. So always look for that adjustability around the ankle. And you can see this one itself is very rigid and doesn't move. So this scoring time, Billy Cart kids. Flexible, yes, through all parts of the shoe. Flat, yes, from toe to heel. Looks like it's got a heel raise, but it doesn't, it's just stitching. Wide toe, actual wide toe compared to the heel, yes. Always check that with a shoe that it's not a pretend wide heel. This was so hard to cut through, not at all. Adjustable, yes, but remember to look around the ankle. So yes, Billy Cart kids, love them. And thin, it is definitely thin, and breathable soles, which I really love, so that your kid's getting the most sensory feedback that they can into their feet, which will help their balance and postural control. Not thin, don't like, really hard. So I actually really love these shoes. So many of my followers on Instagram have recommended Billy Cart kids, and I haven't been able to get my hands on any because they're a new brand to me, but I think they're really lovely. I wish that some of these were my daughter's size so I could keep them, but they're not, so they're going to you. Remember to drop your comment below. If you've liked this video, please subscribe so that you can get more updates, or come follow me on Instagram, Nicole_kidsphysio.